I advise everyone that watches my videos, take some time and just step back from YouTube for a bit. Just step back from all of these movie trailers because we have been getting slammed on with movie trailers. It's a good thing, but it is 90% of these trailers, actually 99% of them, just show the whole goddamn movie. So the past two movies I've seen, I've really tried my best to stay away from everything on the internet, and it has paid off terrifically. I watched Talk to Me. I did a review of that in this movie. So after I watched Talk to Me, I'll get into the review in a second, but after I watched Talk to Me, I watched the trailer, and I'm so happy I didn't watch the trailer before because they show a lot. They don't show everything, but they show a bit too much. And I did not want to know everything going into the movie because then the surprise would be spoiled for me, and I just did not want to put up with that because then I would not like the movie. So I did that with this movie, The Last Voyage of the Demeter. Sorry if I fucked the name up. I also did that with this movie. All I heard was it was about a boat carrying some cargo and Dracula is on it. And I knew about the book. I know that the book is called The Captain's Log, I think. And we get a bit of references in the movie towards it. And there literally is a captain's log, as there should be on a boat. But that's all I knew. I knew it wasn't like a humanized version of Dracula, because I saw the movie poster and you can kind of see what he looks like. But overall, I'm just saying, guys, do yourself a favor. Just go to the movies. Watching the trailer for The Exorcist in the movie theater was awesome. Like the brand new Exorcist movie that's coming out. I didn't watch it on YouTube. Seeing it in the theater and just seeing it that one time, it just makes it so much more immersing when you're watching it there compared to watching it at home on YouTube on your phone. So, to get to the movie, sorry for the long rant. The Last Voyage of the Demeter. Whatever you call it. This movie, I'm just gonna say right now, I don't understand the hate that this movie is getting. It just fucking came out last night, and majority of the comments I looked at after I watched the movie, I don't do that before, after I watched the movie, I was like, did you guys watch the same movie as me? Like, what does it take for fucking people to be happy nowadays, other than superhero movies? Like, people do not know what a good, well-made film is, even if it's shoved in their face. I don't get it. This movie was awesome. It was a 10 out of 10 for me. I don't even have complaints. I would say things I'm confused as to like how they did it in the movie, but not really a complaint. I'm just gonna start off right off the bat. This movie is beautiful. It is shot on location. I'm pretty sure. There's no way this was CGI. I know Dracula was CGI, but they also use a lot of practical makeup and practical effects. So the Dracula is a mix of CGI and on location footage. But the movie itself, how all of the shots are, every single shot in this movie is just done with so much care. And it's not the typical A24 where it's artsy and it's trying to get in your face. Oh, look how unique I am. It's just beautiful shots of the mountains and the lakes and, you know, the ocean and just everything around, the forest, everything. And it's just, I found it really relaxing, even though this movie was way more emotional, way more character development and like character driven than I thought it would be. The times when you just get to sit back and look at everything, it just helps you breathe from after all the blood fest we got on going before. And then you just get to relax for a minute. I really appreciated it. They really do a great job of showing you everything around the boat, and it really makes you feel like you're on the boat with them, you're secluded, you got nowhere to go, and you really do feel like you're on the adventure with these characters. It has such a dark tone to it, which I was not expecting. I thought it was going to be, since I didn't watch the trailer, even from the movie poster, I was like, okay, there might be some dark moments. But overall, when I think of Dracula, I do think of the old version, the human with the teeth. But I was thinking, for some reason, I was thinking not family friendly, but like maybe teenager friendly, and kids can maybe go see it if their parents let them, and the parents will go see it. And I don't know, Dracula, Frankenstein, you don't really get blood and gore in those movies, so it appeals to kids a lot more. But this movie is not for kids. It is made for men like me who want a fucking bloodbath, and you get that. It is awesome. You don't get too much, you get just enough that just leaves you wanting for more. The kills are fucking fantastic. Obviously, Dracula's sucking their blood, but I'm not going to spoil it. The kills are awesome. There's a good variety. All the characters, man, where do I start? If you guys make it through the whole video, let me know in the comments if you want me to do a spoiler review of this movie, because I will. There's a lot to talk about. But I'm not going to spoil anything because it just came out yesterday. But the characters in this movie, some of them you're not going to like, some of them you're going to like. I liked every single person in this movie because everyone has a everyone has a role that has a purpose. And whoever made the script is just so goddamn good at their job, because these characters exchanges going back and forth, from doing that to working together and becoming friends, it is all just really well written. There's not one scene in here that I could be like, oh yeah, take this out, this doesn't need to be here. The pacing is great. It's a 2-hour movie. It flies by. You get a really great child actor. I don't know his name, but I have seen him in something. It's driving me nuts. I can't remember what the movie is. Didn't annoy me whatsoever. Did a really, really good job. You have Ben Kingsley in here. I forget who plays the captain. Really good actor, though. You'll see, when you see him, you'll know. And most importantly, my man who played Dr. Dre in Straight Outta Compton. I completely forget his name, too. But he was definitely 100% the standout here. His acting was really good. He was basically a doctor, and he's very, very, very smart. But he's someone you do not want to piss off. But at the same time, he is the nicest person you'll ever meet. He cares for the little boy a lot, and he does whatever he can to help everyone on the ship. So this movie is kind of complicated in terms of Dracula, what they're going to do, because it kind of does leave off on a cliffhanger. I loved every second of it. But there is moments in here where he is very just Dracula with the bat wings, and he just murders people. And then you have a couple of moments where he kind of shows a little bit of emotion, just for a quick second. A little bit of emotion, and then he starts talking in English, and then you don't really know, is this the mutant version of Dracula, or because this is not the Dracula that we grew up with back in the 90s. This isn't the human with just fangs. This guy looks like a fucking zombie, and since he has that emotion, and since he is talking, and he does understand English, and he speaks English, you think, does he transform into a human somehow? Or is this the actual version of this Dracula? If there is a second one, if this one does do good at the box office, I really hope it does, but I don't think it will, because the trailer did get a lot of views. There's 22 million views, but I don't know if a lot of people are going to rush out to see it because they're going to think another Dracula movie. which really sucks because this is a really special movie. All three acts blend in together perfectly. The ending is perfect. The third act is just lives up to your expectations throughout the movie. And my favorite thing about this movie wasn't just the kills, it was also the character development in the kills, but most importantly, the use of Dracula. They literally go probably an hour, I would say. I didn't time it, but it felt like once you get to like the middle of the second act, that's when Dracula comes to fruition. But for a lot of the movie, you're getting to know the characters, seeing where everyone's coming from, why they don't like each other. And then I kind of had a brain fart there. You kind of have them knowing that something's going on the boat, and everyone is running around wondering where the fuck did this guy go? How did he end up dead? How did all our livestock being dead? Sorry, that's a spoiler. But they don't know, so they're pointing at the guy from the other movie I mentioned, and they're looking at him. They're like, "Well, you're the new guy," and then all this crazy shit starts happening. It's kind of suspicious, and then they slowly trust each other over time as they realize that there's something else on the boat with them. And this whole time, you don't really see Dracula that much. You just keep hearing these noises. You maybe get like one kill, or you see him hiding in the dark and you can barely see him, and then you see him and you're like, oh my god, like I didn't know he was there. So many what the fuck moments. And there's just good tension building up to the Dracula reveal, which I appreciated so much once we see him. Because if they just threw him in the first scene and he's killing people, it just doesn't... It might come off as a cheesy movie. But the build-up and the anticipation, the intensity, it made it so worth it. I was like, I really hope they pull this off, because the build-up is really good, but the execution could be shit. Fortunately, it was not. This movie is a 10 out of 10. The score is great as well. It is awesome. Please go support this movie in the movie theater. It's really a good time. It's very depressing, I'm going to warn you. It's very sad. It's very emotional. And I was just not expecting this type of work, this type of quality to come out of this movie. It fucking blew me away. Every time a movie comes out, nowadays, even superhero movies, my expectations are low. And I made a joke earlier to one of my buddies. I was like, yo, watch this be in like my top 10 movie of the year. Just joking. And this 100% is going to be in my top 10 of the year. We're in August, don't get me wrong, we got a couple more months to go, but I don't think I'm going to replace this with anything. I don't know what number I would put it at. I'd be leaving that for the end of the year, but this movie really needs a sequel, because the way this movie ends is terrific. It's amazing, and if they pull a sequel off, I really, really think a lot more people will come around to this. Maybe they don't like this version of Dracula. Maybe they're just not interested in this type of movie. But I miss these kind of movies. It's a complete refresher from... And we're getting bombarded with superhero shit. And now horror movies and superhero movies are kind of combined together when you're talking about like release schedules. And they're both coming out like just consistently. Horror movies, I tend to get burnt out on actually a little bit more than superhero movies. The whole Conjuring universe, Insidious, I just got burnt out on. And they just keep coming, man. A lot of bad horror movies, a lot of good ones, but mostly bad. Same as superhero movies. But there's always that one movie in the middle of the year. There's a couple of movies that people just don't go see, don't get promoted a lot, and this is definitely one of those movies. But it is, I don't know what the budget was, but it is amazing what they pulled off here with the special effects and the actual in-camera work. It is amazing. Like I said, I don't want to repeat myself. Please go watch this movie. I just realized we're going on 15 minutes. That is my bad. I will end the video now, and I'll check you guys tomorrow for another review from Make the Great Reviews.